This and every Wednesday, Tobago Talks, and when Tobago Talk, we listen. Let's welcome the political leader of the Innovative Democratic Alliance, the IDA, Dr. Denise Soifat Angus. Dr. Soifat Angus, a pleasure as always. It's been quite a while. Glad to see you this morning. Welcome.
Good morning. And yes, it has been a while. So good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Good morning to you. And I want to find out what's the general sentiment in Tobago? What's the mood on the ground? I know you're very much connected to the people. And more so, out of yesterday's high power meeting, that coming together of the Prime Minister and the Chief Secretary, are you impressed with at least the initial rollout, this call to action to bring more resources and officers on the ground, boots on the ground, more so the Trinidad boots on the Tobago soil? Your general sentiment on the current development?
Yes. Well, people are quite, resigned, wanting to throw their hands up in the air, feeling very hopeless with what has been happening with the state of the economy, because they are really feeling the pain more than just a pinch now. They're feeling the pain. And all that has not really helped with all these crimes now we have in our midst. It was on March the 8th, right after the motion moved by the Chief Secretary to create a Tobago policing unit. And we wrote to the Prime Minister because we were concerned that the unit was an illegal move. And we still stand by that, because although the Tobago House of Assembly is responsible under the Act, Section 25(2), responsible for the safety and the security of the people and its buildings, under 26(1), it clearly states that the Assembly shall not have responsibilities for matters set out in the 6th schedule, which policing is part of that. And so it was part of a dilemma having him move this motion to set up this unit, and the unit being illegal and pretty much being a toothless bulldog, and him and the Prime Minister not having conversations like they're supposed to. And so we wrote to them on March 8th when we were at the 6th murder, one murder away from 50% of the murders of the last year. And we wrote to the Prime Minister, we copied the Chief Secretary, the Minister of National Security, the Minority Leader, the representative for Roxborough, Mr. Watson Duke, and we wrote to we copied all of them. And interestingly enough, I received a response from Mr. Duke saying noted, he received it, and from the Secretary of the Prime Minister stating that she has received it and she will bring it to the attention of the Prime Minister. We heard nothing else from any of them except when the Chief Secretary got on his launch in Speyside and attempted to ridicule my name and state, he's waiting to see if the Prime Minister would respond to me. I mean, crime is serious business. We don't need to be playing politics with it. And so yesterday, I was heartened to see that they finally met, because our letter also advocated for Tobago to have a seat at the National Security Council to talk about Tobago's agenda and Tobago's business specifically. So yesterday we were quite heartened that after 4 months, they finally heeded our call to meet at the National Security Council. Of course, 10 lives too late, but at least they met. And we are looking forward to what is to coming out of that. So we support that Tobago, according to the Act, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has full responsibility over Trinidad and Tobago. And I am pleased that they were able to see the gaps, and make decisions in that regard.
So once boots on the ground, Okay, so granted the ball is rolling, the policy is now being put in place. There are already officers from the interagency task force there, but obviously with yesterday's meeting, we suspect more numbers will be now deployed to Tobago. How can this at least immediately impact, I would say, consumer and investor confidence? Because I'm sure there is a correlation between what's happening and the general sense of well, the mood of the economy, of course, the business. I mean, tourism is a major thrust. I mean, we don't want Tobago to become a place where people are afraid to go. We know the watchwords. At least it's safe, green, safe, and serene. Safe being an important word there. What should be done immediately to ensure that we keep that momentum so that it will not impact investor and consumer confidence?
Well, I think there's strong decisions made yesterday to send additional resources in terms of the human capital to Tobago.
But when they reach on the ground, what do you think should be done immediately? Once boots are on the ground, once you get the numbers now requested, what should be, is it roadblocks? Is it that we're doing search and what in your vision, the immediate plan?
Well, they have to gain the trust of communities. So these new policemen have to be introduced to communities. They have to gain the trust so people can share. Because persons know what's going on in Tobago. It's just that they don't feel comfortable or trusting to share. And therefore, one of the first things is for them to connect throughout communities and give people the assurance, give people the opportunity that they can trust them and get people to begin sharing the information that they may have.
Okay.
And therefore, persons could feel protected when they do that.
Solid point. So the iron fist coming to shake up the cage approach will not work?
I don't think that will work. You can send people on the ground with that. So I think it's more, having a community approach that may gain them faster grounds in terms of getting the job done. I am not saying that at some point you may have roadblocks if they have a tip-off, but at the same time, the community policing part of it is really important and critical.
Do you and others still feel safe in Tobago?
Yes, to some extent we do. You are more mindful of maybe where you go and what you do. But I think, yes, persons are still to some extent feeling safe. Fantastic.
Let's go back to what you mentioned earlier regarding the economy. There's the general mood and sentiment. What's your feeling at this point in time when you talk to fellow countrymen, countrywomen there in Tobago as to the economy there? Are the wheels turning as they should?
The wheels are not turning as they should, and not as quickly as they should. We know that the Chief Secretary just laid his budget in the House, but if you are not totally honest with the people to let us know where we are in terms of the statistics, then people are not aware how can we operate in a different way to effect a greater impact on the economy. And therefore, the statistics that were rolled out were not impressive. And when you consider that the growth in the economy in Trinidad is about 3%, but over the last couple of years, this assembly, given its policies, have lost ground of about 2% in terms of the growth of the economy. And therefore, they need to be more honest with the people. They need to have more consultations with the people because people have ideas. I mean, when we were going out throughout the communities with the Constitution review, it was amazing the type of ideas that people would like to see in their communities, that they would like to see happening. And therefore, they may find rich treasures. They may find treasures if they go in and just have conversations with people and understand where people are coming from.
Indeed. Just in the 60 seconds that remain, could you, before we wrap things up officially, tell us the latest with the IDA in terms of any kind of rollout? What's happening as it pertains to your party, the Innovative Democratic Alliance?
Yeah, the IDA has been, very passionate about this crime issue. As a mother, I feel it for every single life that is lost. I feel it for the mothers out there because we all come from a mother. And so the IDA has been doing a lot of activities with NGOs. We have partnered with the Family Life Transformation Foundation to give hampers to the murders, the murder victims, the families of the murder victims. Over the last couple of months, and we had a candlelight vigil. We also collaborated with Restore Tobago in terms of having a presence to give support to that activity that brought awareness to the crime activities in Tobago. And so we continue to work with the people because that is really what it's all about. Politics is nothing more than just working with the people, understanding the needs of the people and meeting those needs, closing the gaps. And so that is where we have continued to work. We recently had our IDA Men Can Cook, which was so well attended, and we want to thank everyone out there who supported. We want to thank the men who actually cooked, and we look forward to that next event with them.
Dr. Denise Soifat-Angus, thank you so much. It's been quite a pleasure, and let's do wait so long again before we have another conversation. See you soon, hopefully.
Absolutely, thank you.
That's right, Tobago Talks, touching base with the political leader of the IDA out there in beautiful Tobago. She still says she feels safe. Remember the watchwords there, the marketing watchwords, safe, no. Green, clean, safe and serene. They are not talking about machine, and magazine. It's safe, it's green, clean, safe and serene. That particular order. We get you ready for a grand health fair happening on Sunday. Full details after the break.